And you mentioned it was hard to find a quote, right, for profane. But let me tell y'all, there's going to be some profanity today.
Down the road.
Just a little bit. Just a little
I for one.
bit.
I'm all for it.
So, mommy, if you're watching, you might want to skip this service. You might want to skip this service. So, welcome everyone again. It's good to see all of you. Good to see all of you. Good to see all of you. So, we're in our November theme, which is the mundane, the sacred, the profane. Oh my. Oh my. And today it's going to be a oh my. It's going to be a oh my. So we can find the sacred in the mundane, and we can also find the sacred in the profane, Chris. So we also are going to marry the profane with gratitude today. So later on in the service, we're going to do a process together that's going to marry those two energies together, the profane and gratitude. So remember, the origins of sacred is holy. Yes? Mm-hmm. So that term can be expressed as part of the sacred also, right? Holy is sacred. Would we say that the profane is holy? Would anyone say that the profane is holy? I don't know, but guess what? We do. We do. So I want to share with you a term that I think some of us use. I think there's a term that some of us use that is a combination of the sacred and the profane. Do you know what that term is?
Holy shit.
Holy shit. Yes. And the thing about holy shit is it's all about the tone. It's all about the feeling tone, right? Because if I say holy shit, is that positive or negative?
Sounds positive.
Sounds positive, right? But if I say, holy shit, something's about to go down, right? So it's all in the energy that we bring to it, right? The sacred is in the profane, and the profane is in the sacred, because we are in it. We are in it, right? And it's the energy that we bring to it that makes all the difference. That makes all the difference. So I looked up the definition of profane, as you know that I would do. And it is characterized by irreverence of contempt for sacred principle of things, opposed to sacred, unholy, common, and vulgar. However, the definitions only tells part of the story. It's really about the origins of words. And for me, the origin of a word is the vibration of the word. So the origin of profane means outside the temple. Outside the temple. Now, in our teachings, we know, where does everything begin? Inside, within. And so anything that is happening that is not happening from within us, we can consider to be profane, because it is outside the temple of who we are. And we get in trouble. I know I get in trouble when I think I can create from without. I know it's just me. It's just me, right? So we know, as within, so without. Right? Holy shit. As within, so without. As within, so without. So we can look at our lives and see the things that occur that we believe to be outside of the consciousness of who we are, outside the temple, outside the truth of who we are. And that's where we find ourselves getting into some problems. I was going to say that. Yeah, I think I've said it enough. Right? We find that's where we get ourselves into some problems. But we know in our teaching that life is an inside job. Life is an inside job. Everything is created within. So the perception of profane can be viewed as a form of separation. When we believe that this life is outside of who we are in separation. When we treat others outside of who they truly are, we are in separation with each other. And we could see so many examples of that over history and even right now of separation, because we are treating each other outside of each other's temple, not within, not seeing the sacredness within each other, not honoring each other's temple as whole, as complete, as worthy, as lovable, as good. So in The Science of Mind, Ernest Holmes says, spirit is all life, truth, love, being, cause, and effect. And since spirit is all life, spirit is the wholeness representing as you, as me, as the mundane, as the sacred, as the profane, as everything. We say God is all in all. Spirit is all in all. That means everything. Everything that we bring to it with a capital IT. In this thing called life, we have a tendency to forget that. I know I do. I forget. And I want to put this person in this box separate from who I believe them to truly be. And I'm adding into that energy of the profane, of treating someone outside of who they truly are. So we know also from sacred texts that we are not to judge things according to their appearances. So something might look like something, may look profane, but then in retrospect, have some time go by, and we could bring to mind that thing that we consider profane, that thing that we consider vulgar, that thing that we consider unholy, and we could see a lesson, a nugget, something that we learned from it. Yes? Yes. So we're going to do that today. We're going to invite in the profane, something that may have occurred, something that may be occurring right now, that we're holding outside of who we are. It could be a situation, it could be a person, it doesn't matter. But we are holding it outside of who we truly are. And we can apply gratitude for that thing. I can remember a relationship that I was in, someone that I thought I was going to get married to. And it ended terribly. I was heartbroken. And my whole story about this person was really what they did to me. They did this to me. They betrayed me, right? I was totally holding everything about this relationship outside of myself. But then in retrospect, when I started to shift my perception about it, I could see the blessings when I looked within it, when I took it and put it inside of who I am, inside of my temple. I could see that this relationship is the relationship that introduced me to science of mind. Maybe that was the whole purpose of this relationship. Maybe it wasn't to marry this person. Maybe it was simply for this person to introduce me to the science of mind, metaphysics, that transformed my whole life. Maybe. So I know that each one of us has a situation that we can learn from and be in gratitude for, that we can transform what we hold as profane into the sacred, that we could take it in, that we can transmute it in consciousness and use the law of as within, so without. So you're game for this? Mm-hmm. All right. I call it the holy shit process. So, I'm going to pass around. This is a poop emoji. Pass around these cards. I think I have enough. And if everyone has a pen, if you're with us on Zoom or you're watching us on Facebook, I invite you to get a piece of paper and something to write with. If you need a pen, I have one. So grab a pen and something to write with. Everyone's good. Black for you. Okay. So let's just get comfortable for a moment. You could put that down and let's just close our eyes or lower our gaze and take one of those breaths. Let's take a breath in and let it out. One more time. A breath in and out. So let's just ponder a moment. Ponder a situation. It could be a thought, a belief, a circumstance that we hold outside of ourselves, that we hold as profane, outside the temple. Let's just bring that to mind, knowing that we're just bringing it to mind, that we're safe, that all is well, right here and right now. We just let it gently come to the surface. Think about that moment that made you feel some kind of way. Allow yourself to feel whatever feelings are surfacing. And now just gently Take it inside the temple of love that is within you, not outside of you. And it's in this temple that is within us that we see through the lens of love. We are looking at it with our spiritual eyes, whatever that may be, whoever that may be, whatever that may be. We can look at it through the eyes of the sacred. We can transmute whatever it is, knowing that it is spirit holding it together. Spirit is holding it together for us, through us, and as us. Whatever it is, when we look at it with our spiritual eyes, when we look at it from a sacred place, we can see the highest good for our unfoldment, for our growth, for our expansion. And we take that in. And we just let the vibration of the integration of the mundane, the sacred, and the profane to come into the wholeness within us, inside the temple. And we just rest there for a moment in the silence. And from this higher perspective, the higher perspective where gratitude resides, we can say thank you in consciousness, in our hearts, in our souls, for whatever this is. And so when you're ready, still in this energy of gratitude, of transformation, you could take the card out of the envelope and just write a thank you note. Write a thank you note and start it this way. Dear holy shit. And let it know what you are grateful for, the lessons that have revealed itself. The gifts that you have received. The profane is just a reminder that we're outside of who we are, that we journeyed outside the temple. So what I'm going to do is, at some random time in 2024, you're gonna go to your mailbox and find this note that you wrote to yourself. And I know it's gonna be the perfect time for you to get a reminder that everything is sacred, even the profane, even the mundane, when we hold it inside the temple. Everything. Because everything is for our highest good, right? The word is all things work together for good. All things. And sometimes it's just so hard to see it in the midst of it because we are outside the temple. So I also wanted to, if you didn't catch it, I made an acronym for the word shit, which is spirit holding it together. Spirit holding it together. Okay. That's some shit. Yes. Yes. Peace and blessings, everyone. Peace and blessings.
Namaste.
Namaste. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving.